where I'm at now. Okay, I'm on the bottom. So
on the bottom.
Hello, welcome everybody, and how are y'all doing tonight? All right, looks like we have a really cool crowd out there. So, how are you ladies been?
It's busy week.
Same here. I think all three of us have been pretty busy.
Oh yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. So, well, good. Well, at least we get to have a little hangout time tonight and hang out with a really fun crowd and some really special guests. So let's get this show rolling. It's another middle of the week, Wednesday night. So, all right. Well, we're so glad that you guys are all with us down there in the chatter box and hope you're ready to just sit back and enjoy a little bit of conversation about education. For those of you who don't know, I'm Theresa with Meant to Be RVing, and up here to my right.
I'm Phoebe with Beyond Beauty 3, and this is...
I'm Nette with MelNetteLivingFreeZipCodeless.
All right. And here at Let's Talk About It Live, this is where you will find three women who dive in to discuss and debate and explore a variety of topics. And tonight, we're, like I said, going to talk about education. And we have two special guest channels to do that with us. We actually have Nursing Our Travel Bug here with us, and they do things from the road. And then we have Danny here with Griswold Family Vacay, and he's doing things a little bit different. He's in the public education system. So we want to hear from him how school is going on their end, in their world. So I think our topic is going to go a little bit from, what would you say, maybe homeschooling to some virtual schooling, and maybe talk about in-schooling a little bit as well. So, okay. Shall we bring up our guest?
We want to take a minute and welcome everyone to the chat real quick.
Absolutely.
All right. So we have Nomadic Hippie. We have Van Life with Gina Payne. We have MelNetteLivingFreeZipCodeless. Thrifty Angela. Happy Place Camping. Rally Creative Travels. And Griswold's in the chat. What? Then we have Shanna Craft. We have Nursing Our Travel Bug in the chat. Wait, what? Then we have Diary of a Family, Linda Barker, and I think that's it for now. So more should be rolling in here soon. And oh, Lindy Oki just popped in. So are my guests ready to come up? Here we go. If I can get my mouse over here. There we go.
Hey!
Hey, everybody.
Hey, hello.
All right. And Bibi, you'll be handling the chat today?
Yes.
Down there? Okay. And I forgot to mention that as you socialize with each other in the chatter box, we, the creators of Let's Talk About It Live, like to challenge you to rise by lifting others and speaking kindness. And with that, we're going to get on with the show. Welcome, Natasha, Bill, and Danny.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, we're excited. We are definitely excited. Whew. Well, do we want to start off, and Bill and Natasha can probably tell us a little bit of what schooling's like on their end, maybe?
Sure. When we started homeschooling, it was actually when we started RV traveling, so we didn't know what we were doing at all. But it's great because you just kind of learn with your kids as you go. We started off in May after their previous school year ended. So we had, 3 months to figure out RV living, do more research, and figure out what kind of program we wanted to do with the kids first. So we kind of got to ease our way into it.
Yep. When we started, our data coverage was terrible. So online was kind of out of the question. So we started with books. And of course, when you're in an RV, can't, I don't know, carrying around 200 pounds of books isn't
Oh,
really
yeah.
full timing.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually we got our good data, and now we are doing it fully online, which is working out. I think the kids really enjoy it because it's kind of driven by them, really. So they can go at whatever pace they want to. And right now they're motivated by video games.
Yep.
If we could find something else to motivate them, that'd be fantastic. But for now, that motivates them to get it done so they can get on to their chores and other daily things and get on with their day.
Yeah.
So with the pandemic going on, has that affected education on yours, or has it stayed a continuous education process? Or
Yeah, the pandemic didn't really affect us much at all because we were already homeschooling. So we didn't have to worry about, scrambling and figuring out the online thing. We didn't have to figure out what we would do for daycare, all of the things that stationary families are struggling with even now. So really, in that sense, I feel blessed because, we already had our system down. Really, the one thing that affected us with the lockdown was being able to get out and explore and learn in the environment we're in. We're typically in a spot for 3 months at a time because of my nursing contracts. So we like to go check out the local museums or libraries or, the different cultural things that an area might offer, even junior ranger programs. But when everything is shut down, you can't partake of those things. So they didn't really get to broaden their horizons in the locations we were at, but they were still participating in their online learning.
gotcha.
And how's that opening up now? Are there more areas you can go explore now, or is it still pretty locked down where you're currently at?
I think it's definitely opening up. I think some of the, well, at least in Illinois, some of the more fun, like hands-on exhibits, stuff like that, are still closed down. So a lot of the science museums or kids museums will still be closed. But I think they're starting to open up, and we're not too far from St. Louis. And they don't care there, apparently. Everything's open. Except for the arch. You can't go up the arch, but it sounds like a lot of the museums are open there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We actually, a few weeks ago, had gone to the Lincoln, what is it called?
The Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum.
Yes. So you had to buy your tickets online ahead of time, and you had to select a time slot, which was really easy to get into. And then you just had to wear a mask the entire time you were there. But all of the exhibits were open, so we got to experience the museum almost like you would be had to deal with a pandemic.
So should we bring this over to Danny now? Because I know the kids were already in school pretty much when the pandemic kind of took place, right?
That was crazy. I'll just say this: when all this stuff first started happening, when everything first started shutting down, was actually it took place at a basketball game that I was at here in Oklahoma City. The Oklahoma City Thunder were supposed to play the Utah Jazz that night, and my wife and I were actually at that game. And what happened was they were warming up and everything, and then they went out, and then nobody came on the court to play the game. So we were all wondering what in the world was going on. Anyway, they come back later, and that's when they first found out that the Utah Jazz center, Rudy Gobert, had been diagnosed with the virus.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And ever since then, that's when everything shut down, was like right after that happened. That was the biggest thing that triggered it. And we were there, so that was pretty crazy. But the next day at school, all the kids were talking about it and everything. And then we go on to spring break, and we never came back for the rest of the year. So that really put us teachers who are used to teaching in the classroom in a very challenging, like we weren't able to be proactive. We had to be reactive because we weren't expecting it. And that's the good thing about this year right now, is we were able to be, right now we're being proactive.
Mm-hmm.
So this summer we actually had to learn an online learning system. It's called Schoology. There's several out there, but ours is Schoology. And the way ours works, I guess I'll tell you guys first where I teach. It's in a city called Yukon, Oklahoma. It's right outside of Oklahoma City on Interstate 40. It's actually where country music singer Garth Brooks grew up. So
Oh, cool.
that's how people will know Yukon. But the way school's working right now is the teachers are reporting from their classrooms. We're all the teachers are still going to school, and we're in our classrooms and we're teaching to the students who are going to school virtually.
Okay.
So we're teaching from our classrooms to the students who are at home. And we have, so I teach 6th grade geography. I have 4 class periods a day. They're 30-minute periods. And what they are is they're live sessions on Zoom. So I'll hold a Zoom meeting with all of my students each hour for 30 minutes at a time. And then we give them the assignments and we'll walk them through like what they're supposed to do. And everything is done through that Schoology. The one good thing about our geography textbook is we adopted a brand new book this year, and the whole thing is online. So that was fortunate. That was good timing for that. So
yes.
So far, there's some kinks here and there, but so far, I think both the teachers and the students are getting the hang of it. So it's going pretty well.
Now, last year, did you have a lot of students that struggled?
You mean like with the having to stay at home and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there were both students and teachers that struggled with that. I was kind of it was a lost few months there. I'll say that for sure. So this year we're kind of having to almost reteach some of the things that they lost from being in class last year at the start of this year. But a lot of schools last year, from what I hear from my other friends who are teachers in different states, different school districts, things like that, they continued the school year and they went through that whole year's curriculum.
Yes.
Whereas our school, our district, we focused on just reinforcing the skills that they were taught for the first 3 quarters instead of trying to teach them new things.
Gotcha.
At least they will be able to retain that,
Do you have problem as far as with internet services, and same with Nursing Our Travel Bug? I would think that would be pretty hard, for you to do any kind of your teaching, and then of course for Bill as well. What do you do when you run into that situation?
You guys can go first if you'd like. That's fine with me.
Sure. Well, as Bill had mentioned earlier, in the beginning, we had almost no internet access. We were in Fargo, like outside of Fargo, North Dakota. So we were really in the boonies. We had no service. And it wasn't until, I don't know, probably a year and a half being on the road, we finally got good, reliable internet that wasn't just on our mobile phones. And that's when we really started expanding and thinking about going online and those kinds of programs. But where was I going with that? Jump in.
Yes. So far, I think everywhere we've had a pretty decent connection.
Yeah.
So we haven't had to deal with no data.
Right. But we have had instances. That's where I was going. I found that train of thought. But we have done, like in certain areas where we've been, we always hook up with a library in every location that we're at. So if we've had like Zoom meetings, like with other programs or other groups that we're a part of online that the kids want to connect, we'll go to the library and just like check out a meeting space or a room, and then they can do that stuff online. So if that's what it broke down to, and we were in an area where we didn't have good service, you just go find where there's free Wi-Fi.
Right.
Good. That's really good.
Mm-hmm. I read an article somewhere that I think it was Monday, Zoom crashed all over the place, and parents were mad at the schools. Parents were having all these and they were taking it out on teachers. And then here Zoom puts out this thing and says, "We're sorry, we were just overloaded and couldn't handle it." Yep. So I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do when all of the schools are back in session, if Zoom can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can answer that part for us as far as the lack of internet and stuff like that. The end of last year, what happened was every teacher had to call their class and ask if they had internet access. If they said no, what happens was we would make tangible packets for them, and we would have a drive-through at the school, and the parents would come through and pick up a packet of work or of activities and assignments for the student to do that week.
Okay.
This year, a lot of the neighborhoods around Yukon have actually set up mobile hotspots. So if people don't have internet access, they can go to the hotspot and use it there. Our school also, or our district this year also initiated a one-to-one student Chromebook. So every kid now in our district has a Chromebook that they can use. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
My one kid's school did that. They gave the Chromebooks to every student.
Right.
The other son's school, they said that the Chromebooks are delayed being made because of the virus.
Yeah.
It's set back making the Chromebooks, and now they can't get the Chromebooks out to the school. I'm like, oh man.
Oh.
We do have a question over here for you from Lynn the Okie. She says, how does it work when the students need the in-person learning who are visual auditory learners?
Mhm.
Actually, some students are actually meeting in person at our school. For example, we have the option to, like, say it's somebody with a special needs that needs the one-on-one, then they do come to school just in small group. Also, the teachers' kids, they come to school if they need to as well, and they're taught through the Schoology thing, but they're actually there at the school, social distance, while their mom or dad are working from their classroom.
That is really awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Jenny, with your son and all, how are you doing school there? Is he doing like the virtual or?
Well, I have my oldest, his name is Adric. He's 8th grade this year, and my youngest is Landon. He's 2nd grade. Actually, right now, both of them are doing straight virtual school, and the reason for that is because my wife, Kimberly, she's able to work from home ever since this happened. And as Bill and Natasha were saying earlier, the virtual school is kind of self-paced, and you can kind of do it like when you want. There's not really a set schedule as long as you get this done by this date. So today was their first day, and I think they both like it pretty well.
Do you see any like stress and anxiety with kids with the transitioning from the in-school to virtual type school, or how is that thing going?
You know what? Actually, for once, probably ever, we have a lot of kids that are saying that they wish they could be at school.
Wow.
Right.
They're getting used to the Zoom, and they're getting used to the way that the virtual learning and all that is going. But a lot of them still are saying that they wish they would be able to be at school. So that makes the teachers feel good, you know?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it's the socialization and just missing your friends. My sister had posted on Facebook, my niece is going into, I think, 2nd grade this year. And my sister wanted photos with her before she ran inside. And my niece said, Mom, I see you every day. I haven't seen my friends for months. I just want to go in and play.
Right.
I think that's a girl thing, though, because, and I'm not trying to be, girl versus boy, but I have 2 boys and a girl, and my 2 boys, my son's a senior, so he really wanted to kind of go and have his senior year. And my other son, I don't care. And my oldest would have been fine if he had to do it from home. In fact, he kind of switched back and forth between what he wanted to do. But my daughter, on the other hand, please don't make me stay home, Mom. Please don't make me stay home. I need my friends.
But see, that's funny. Then, when you consider our children, they're probably the opposite. Will is more of the social butterfly and Bella's more shy. And we always talked about when we started the RV journey, we would do it for 5 years. And at that point, Bella would be old enough for high school. So if she wanted to go have the traditional high school experience, we'd park it somewhere. You ask her now, she's only 13, but she's going into her 8th grade. She said, nope, I don't want any part of that. No, thank you.
That is really good.
Maybe I tell her too many horror stories from high school. I don't know.
Just
Yeah.
enjoy that. Enjoy it, because the other version of the girl, not fun. Not fun at all.
That whole social aspect thing that you guys are talking about, at least for me and for my boys as well, that's one really good thing about meeting all of you guys and becoming part of this awesome community is the fact that we do, even though it's not in person, we do get to have that social aspect. And so I think that helps out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, definitely. I agree with that. This type of platform has opened up to a lot of worlds from, us as adults and the kids to be able to engage more socially than just being at home. Just like having conversations like we are now,
Right.
which is really good. So
Here's a funny thing. At our school, they normally have a meeting, like a school assembly in the gym, every morning before the kids go off to their classes. Well, this is where having a YouTube channel has actually come in handy for me. I feel comfortable now that I've been on YouTube for a while everybody's been stuck at home and all that. But these morning meetings that our principal normally does from the gym, he now does on StreamYard.
okay.
So he has a YouTube channel from the district, and so every morning he'll get on StreamYard and he will invite the assistant principal in, kind of like we're in the show now, and he'll do his it's called Lakeview Liftoff. He'll do that from StreamYard, and
Nice.
this past weekend I trained him on it, so he's doing a really good job.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is really good.
Mm.
Wow. We have any questions from the chat or?
Not right now. We have a little bit. Our Thrifty Angela said that I guess her kids started on Monday too.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, yeah, Zoom crashed worldwide.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because not all the schools are in session yet. It can't be crashing already.
I'm glad it worked for me.
Jeez.
But yeah.
That's nice about what we do for homeschool is we're not interacting with other teachers. It's just a program the children log on to. So
Right.
Teachers, we hop in if they need help, but otherwise they're just, clicking the various links and watching the various videos and whatever is built into their program. And then, they move on from that and do workbook activities and things like that. But they don't have to check in and do the whole Zoom thing. So.
Do you mind telling me what the name of that program is? Do you know?
Yeah.
The one we're currently using is called Easy Peasy. Easy Peasy. Yeah, it's a mother that had a bunch of kids that she homeschooled herself. Yeah. And someone's like, well, what do you do? I would like to get my hands on your curriculum. And she just put it all online. And now probably millions of people are using it. And
that's cool.
It's pretty neat. And yeah, it's just a bunch of links to some are web pages. Some are like you'll read it online. Then I'll have a question answer thing afterwards. So I need to check back with them and be like, okay, that's this. Make sure they're comprehending it.
Right.
So it's probably not too far off from what the virtual school thing is either then. Ours is called Edgenuity. I know for our oldest, it's called Edgenuity. It's kind of the same kind of platform. Kind of go at your own pace kind of thing. So it sounds pretty similar. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we like it because you can pick and choose the kind of classes that you want them to do. Nice. This mom did map it out as like a Christian-based program, but if you're non-secular or if you're non-Christian, you can remove the Bible study and you don't have to include it as part of your curriculum.
Oh, that's cool.
When we first started and were trying the program, we didn't like the math. We felt like the math was behind where they were at, and it just didn't have enough problems. It wasn't challenging them enough. So that's when we actually had sprouted out and was doing additional research. We actually used the math program that we had used in our textbook program because we really liked that. But then when Bella got older and had finished that program, we had to find something new. So that's where we're learning to tweak it and, pick a little from this program, pick a little from that program, and make it all inclusive.
Very cool.
Fordman, aka, says, I've been having trouble using D2L to submit my assignments to my auto tech professor for college. Is that a program anyone's familiar with?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, because he's doing his college courses right now. So, yeah.
I think there's so many programs out there, and even ways to like communicate with teachers. I don't know if you deal with this Griswold family vacay, but with me, I have the 3 kids. They're in they have different teachers for 8 different classes. It's a lot. But instead of the teachers using one program, like email through Google and that be it.
Yeah.
They have all these different programs. Each teacher chooses which program they want to communicate with you through, and then you have to pick and download that app. So I've got all these different apps for all these different teachers, and I'm like, can't they all just do one? So does your school do that too? Allow you to choose different ways of posting things?
We had a faculty meeting today, and that's actually what the principal discussed was different ways to communicate with parents, but he didn't want all of us doing different, like you just said. He wanted it to be consistent throughout the school. And that's the good thing about this platform, Schoology, that we were all trained in this summer, is that most of our messages and everything are just done straight through that, because we don't want the students or the parents, like you said, having to go to 8 different apps to get the same message. We just want everything to be in that one place. And so our school is actually doing really good at staying, consistent with that.
And that's probably really good, because if a parent, if a family, there are 3 to 5 kids, in a family, and each one of them had to communicate differently or learn on different platforms, I can imagine how confusing and frustrating for the parent it could be, and for the child as well.
Right.
I used to be the type of parent that reached out to every teacher, emailed them, said, if there's anything you need for the classroom, let me know. Like, helpful parent. And now it's gotten to a point where it's like, I don't know where to email you at. So unless my kid has a problem.
Crazy. When I went to college, I did have some like online courses that I could take, but like you logged onto the college's website, and then they had like a separate email location. So any of your professors through any course, that's where your correspondence would be. I'm really surprised that schools haven't done that, because they all have their own websites with different links and such.
Yeah.
It just, that
Right.
I'm flabbergasted.
My son has Google, and he does everything through Google Classroom. My oldest that goes to the smaller school.
Yeah.
The kids at the bigger school, it's all kinds of different apps, and that's where the teachers prefer to instant message, and it's like that makes it so hard, because like, how am I supposed to remember 16 different teachers and which app they're on? And it's just a pain.
You talk about like your Remind and your Group Me and all that stuff. Yeah.
Remind, Group Me, all those things.
See, the Google Classroom is what we used in the past. Was Google Classroom, and you could do everything on there. But this year, at least now that we're virtual, we're hoping that Schoology that we're using can kind of replace that as well. So, but that was nice. The Google Classroom, a lot of teachers really liked that. They were trying to still incorporate that this year as well.
So, Danny, would the schooling, as far as the virtual type schooling you're doing, is more structured and scheduled?
Right.
So they would still have to be online at a particular time to meet their classroom responsibilities, correct?
Well, actually, yes and no.
Okay.
We do have the set schedule, with your 7 class periods, and each period we, as teachers, do a 30-minute live Zoom session, and then the students have a 5-minute break, and then they go to their second hour, and then a 5-minute break, and so on and so forth. But the catch is, every teacher is required to record at least one of those Zoom meetings a day, and we'll post that on Schoology. So if a student misses the live, because we know life happens, and we have parents that work all day, kids that are home by themselves, they're not able to be there right when the class is, and so we understand that, and so we have the recordings, and so they can go back and watch. And they don't get counted. We don't do attendance daily. Instead, we're going to be doing attendance weekly, and it's going to be based on the amount of interaction or the amount of engagement that the student had that previous week. And as long as they were engaged either in the lesson or the Zoom meetings or their assignments 80% of the time, then they get counted present for that week.
Okay. So that would probably be like nursing our travel bug with Bill and Natasha. With yours, because you travel, at some point you travel, you're able to adjust your schedule too for education based on your daily needs for the kids too. Okay.
Yes, we can kind of like if we're traveling between jobs, we might stop while we're traveling, and then we'll just pick up right when we get to where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have had, since it's online, if we have data while we're traveling, we might still have them with their laptops, still doing some things. But we found that was a little bit difficult because then we'd have to, if you're traveling all day, then we still have to stop and go over all their stuff with them while we're trying to do other stuff. But yeah, we can definitely change it to how we're traveling, and if we want to take time off and go back home and visit grandparents, and we just pick up. I think we were doing school till the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep. And we can tailor it. We don't have to go 5 days a week. You know, if we could do what we had done with the textbook stuff is we just took Friday because it was an easy day and we threw it on the back end of Thursday. So then we would just do 4 days a week, and that worked really well. And sometimes we do that with the online stuff. But if we're not doing anything throughout the week, we'll just have them do that extra day just because it's more structured. But the program, when it's set up, it gives you so many lessons. You have, I think it's like 180 lessons. So we just take time off when we need it. And the kids almost go year round with just longer breaks, you know, when we need to.
Right, right. And I'm sure a lot of those breaks become educational breaks too.
Yes.
Yeah.
The places you go to. That's what's really cool. Okay.
So Randy Oki wants to know, how does it work in Landon's grade?
Same way as it does in ours. Same way as it does in 6th grade for kids that are going. It's called the continuous learning plan. And so our hopes are that eventually the students will be able to get back in the classroom. But right now they're just doing the virtual thing. But for Landon, he's doing all virtual this year, at least this semester. So that's how his is.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I put this up a little bit earlier, but man, Thrifty Angela,
She's
you
very-
are a hero. I
Yeah.
have my 2 kids, my niece and nephew, and a family friend's kid. I'm home, so I'm trying to help out with parents that have to work, so the kids are not home all day alone. You are a hero.
Opened up a daycare. That's cool.
Right. I think that's why she drinks wine at night to calm down.
Yeah.
But you know, she brings up a good point. I've wondered about that. Like I have friends that you know still have the traditional sticks and bricks. They're still doing, you know, the regular non-travel lifestyle. And both parents work.
Right.
Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So now, you know, where you were sending your kids to school, yeah, and if they're in different kinds of schools, you know, elementary, middle, and high school, you have to figure out, you know, elementary school kid can't be monitored by themselves. So what am I going to do with them? Now am I going to have to do daycare? Hey, that's an added expense that I wasn't anticipating. And how do the challenge is like, how do you juggle all the classrooms for all 3 kids and still do all of your daily stuff? Because I remember when Bill and I were stationary in our sticks and bricks and we were both working full time, the kids would go to school. We'd all come home, you know, after work in school. Then you have dinner and you have your bedtime routine and baths, and maybe you have 30 minutes to sit down together as a family and watch a show or do an activity, and then you got to go to bed and start it over again. So to add school on top of all of that stuff, man, like I really feel for these parents going through this crazy transition right now.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Send them all to Angie. It's fine.
My son is in like advanced shop class. There's a more specific name for it. I don't know what it's called. But last year he didn't get to finish his shop projects because the shop was closed. But now he's homeschooling, or doing the virtual schooling, but he's in shop class. So I'm like, we'll see how that's going to work. What are they going to have him come in and like, I don't know, because they're not supposed to go in. So we'll see how it works.
Yeah.
We didn't get our schedules till Monday for the larger school district. We didn't get our schedules till Monday, and they start on Thursday. And we had to meet with teachers today. And then their second semester schedules aren't out and won't be out for a while.
Right.
So it's kind of still up in the air with a lot of things.
And you see Fordman's comment?
I would much rather be everything on campus instead of online anyway, because of the issues you have to deal with technology. True.
Yeah.
And I guess part of that could say this might even be helping with having a lesson in technology as well. There is so much technology. That's the direction, I mean, this world is going in. So it's almost forcing that on you to have to learn the stuff that's out there and prepare yourself. I mean, it's all at once. You know, for those who probably went from none and not having stuff at home to now having to get their homes technology ready to go into the future. So I can imagine for some, there's a big learning curve to get through, and for teachers who are used to that.
Kids, it'll be fine. The kids, heck, they're born with a cell phone or a tablet in their hand.
Right.
They'll figure it out before you even have time to turn it on.
Exactly.
There's this online program that we're going to start using for kids who need remediation and like reading and math. It's called iStations. You know who taught me how to use iStations? Landon did.
Right?
Hippie said it would definitely be harder for me to be a bully. There's no way I could stick kids in a locker virtually.
I think go ahead.
As far as testing, when they need to take a test, do they do that online, or is it actually just, like for Danny, it probably virtual, I'm assuming, and then for Bill and Natasha, maybe they take it there and then you grade it, or is it submitted through the program you're using on homeschooling?
No. See, we kind of joke about Texas homeschool laws, that there really aren't any. We were so nervous because we were from Nebraska, and we're like, oh, we got to transfer them in, and what do we do? And what was their exact phrase?
Oh, yes. So we had called the Texas Homeschool Coalition because we needed some kind of direction because everything online was telling you, don't worry about it. So I called, and the lady that answered the phone said, ma'am, this is the great state of Texas. We are not going to tell you how to raise your children.
There you go.
So, yeah, I mean, we joke, but the law in Texas is that there are no homeschool laws. You are just required to teach your children math, English, and citizenship. So,
something like that.
Yeah,
I
but
think it's the same here as well.
You turn in these grades or these scores to. There's no reporting agency. It's just Scouts honor. I'm going to teach my kids.
Okay.
Maybe that changes high school age. We don't know yet. But so far, they'll do tests and stuff at their school, and we'll just go over it ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the thing that's nice about the homeschool, just in general, really, is you can grade a paper, but it's not like traditional school where they're teaching you to the test, and you are, your performance is based on a grade. Really, with the homeschooling, it's a change in your mindset. It's kind of a pass-fail because you can't continue on if you don't already know the material. So if we're they're struggling or they're not getting it, we'll spend more time on it until they fully grasp that concept before we continue on.
There you go.
So we have a request to hear your Texas accent one more
One
time.
more time.
Really afraid of travel. This is a really crummy Texas accent. You'll find most people don't have a very thick accent like that. You're welcome.
I love it. We have about 5 more minutes before Griswold family vacay has to leave. So does anybody have some questions for him specifically? We have one from Lindy Oki, and she says, is Landon and Edric in Yukon school?
Yes, Lynn. Yukon schools. Yes, ma'am.
And Shanna Craft says, do you think that is part of the technology issues we're having? Fordman, aka Kenneth Oakes. Oh, I think she's talking about the Pell Grant, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, I have a question. So they had talked earlier about taking tests. How do kids with your current program take tests? Are they proctored, like you have to show up at a certain time and you only get a certain time limit to discourage cheating? Or how do kids, get scored?
That's a good question. I know even when we were teaching in person, all of our tests were done online already. There's a program called Mastery Connect. So what would happen is we would load the test onto that program, and then they would take it online, and it would score it for us. We wouldn't have to manually score it. With the curriculum that we have now, with the book that we have now, all the tests are implemented into that text. And so that will be done online as well. And my understanding is we're going to have them do these assessments while they're on the Zoom meeting with us. So at least we can monitor what they're doing. Also, there is a program online that you can actually, since they're logged in through the district, with their district emails and their district passwords, there is a website that you can go to, and it will show you exactly what's on every student's computer screen. So you can make sure that they're where they need to be. And I think you can also block them from using other browsers except for the test.
See, my kids had open book test. So they were allowed to use their books or their notes while taking the test, which, I mean, if they're learning, they shouldn't need their books and their notes. I guess with no way to really monitor it on the school's end, that's how it kind of goes.
And Danny's fixing to have to go because he does have a show tonight. Danny, before you go, do you want to let everyone know what you have going on in the next 15 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Take a minute to do that.
First off, thank you guys. It's been an honor. I really appreciate you guys inviting me to be part of your show tonight.
Thank you.
Natasha, it's been great getting to know you guys better as well. And 15 minutes, 10 o'clock Eastern every Wednesday, we actually have our Griswold Family Vacay late night trivia. And tonight's topic is going to be chick flicks.
Awesome.
Before you go, can you tell me a little about this? Danny has an awesome things he does for the higher education as well.
Oh, okay. About 5 years ago, I had the idea of promoting higher education in my classroom. So I started sending emails to the admissions offices of pretty much every school in the country, asking them, telling them what I wanted to do and asking them if they could donate things to my classroom. So I had pennants from all different universities. My entire ceiling in my classroom was covered in pennants. I had flags all over the walls from different universities. I had representatives from different universities do Zoom meetings with my students. I even had people come live. Last year, we had the dean of admissions from Duke University came to our school in Yukon to talk to our kids, and they do things like pen pal letters with them, and they donate swag. So we have a class store in which the kids can earn items from different universities and stuff like that. So it's just something that I just started, and I've been pretty passionate about it for the last 5 years. So
That's really cool.
Yeah, that is. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Thank
Danny,
you, guys.
thanks so much for being here with us
Thank you, Danny.
tonight.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
Bye,
Have a
Danny.
great night, everyone. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
There we go. That was cool.
All right, it's time to question nursing our travel bug.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
I remember
Can I have that
something
drink
really
now?
cool. I remember something really cool your kids said, and I don't remember which particular video it was in, but it was something you had talked about homeschooling with, and I think it was your son who said he remembers things, or it might have been you talking about your son, remembers things because you've gone to those places. He tends to remember that, whereas he wouldn't have remembered it as much reading it through a book. Do you think that's going to stick forever now? They'll always have those?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he talks about the first national park we went to, which was like a month after we started traveling full time. So he was just 7. And we went to the Black Hills of South Dakota. We did Mount Rushmore, but he was actually taken aback by Crazy Horse. And if you all aren't familiar with Crazy Horse, it's not a national park because the Native Americans in that region felt that that the government shouldn't have come in and put these faces of these important politicians on their lands because their lands were very sacred to them. So in response, they wanted to have a memorial for a member of their community that they felt was very strong and powerful and represented who they were. So they don't take any government money. Everything that they take in is just donations. And it's a memorial that's been in progress. It was like, what, 50 years they've been building this memorial?
Sounds good.
Yeah, something like that. They've been carving this memorial of Crazy Horse. And Will said, he sounds so sage sometimes. It's kind of scary. But he said that was his favorite place to visit of all the places that we've gone because he knows what it looks like now. And he wants to go back there when he's old and has kids. And he wants to share with them the progress that they've made and compare it to when he was a little boy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely something to be said for like physical hands-on experiences. There's just some things a textbook can't teach you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember my godmother took me to a trip from Missouri to Washington, Washington, D.C. And we went to the Holocaust Museum. We went to where they made money. We went to the White House. We did all these educational things along the trip. And I still, to this day, remember every one of them. But if you ask me about a camping trip when I was a kid, where we just went and camped, like, as a family somewhere, I don't really remember that as much. I remember those really, like the Holocaust Museum, I'm never going to forget the train. The size of the train that they had. It's just stuff I'm never going to forget.
Yeah.
I do remember camping on our farm, but I mean, like, we went on a trip to Branson, Missouri when I was younger. I know we went, but I don't remember the details of that, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Yep.
It's those powerful memories that stick with you.
Yeah, I think with Bella, I think once we were studying, but it came up the Wright brothers. And she's like, I remember we were in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and we actually saw like how far the plane flew when it first flew, you know. She's like, we were there, we saw that. So I'm like, hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, just for us personally, yeah, I mean, homeschooling is all about the kids. It's about them learning and growing. But honestly, it's enriching our lives too. You know, we are rediscovering things, you know, we were taught when we were kids that maybe we forgot. And just being able to travel and experience these different locations and going to these museums and feeling history and seeing it with your own eyes. Like,
right.
it's so much more meaningful than text. Like history was my worst subject. I hated it. And I was a smart kid in school, hated history. But because I can experience it, I found an appreciation for it.
Yeah. It makes me wish that I was actually living through their eyes. You know what I mean? I wish I had that experience as a child. You know, I think it's amazing that they're learning the way they're learning with the hands-on and seeing history. You know, actually seeing it and not through a book. Yeah, so
absolutely.
Have you ever had that experience when you're actually somewhere and you're starting to hustle through to get things moving, and then you have that, got to stop for a moment because look, the kids are learning. Slow down, stop, let them have that minute to absorb and take it all in because they're actually doing that, you know, instead of.
I think it's sometimes it's the opposite. we'll go to a museum and I'll find something really interesting and I'll stop and read the placards and I'm like, and I'm reading. And I look up and I'm all by myself. Like, oh, I guess that was exciting.
I love when you went to the Western town. Like, that's exciting for anybody. There was nobody there. You guys could stand in the dirt roads and have a gunfight with your fingers. It was so cool.
Yeah. Definitely is. Oh, goodness.
Great video. That's one that keeps getting views out there.
It's awesome. I love that video.
So I would guess then really with everything going on, not a whole lot has changed in your environment as far as teaching and the kids learning. Like you said, except for when you have to go places. How are they adapting to when you do get out now and we go to like a museum or a place in history with having to wear masks and stuff like that? Are they adapting well to that?
Well,
I don't think Bella likes wearing the mask at all.
No, it's like, is it her teenager attitude or is it she really hates the idea of covering up her face? It's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, she gives guff like the entire time we're out. Oh, do I have to do this again?
Like, can I just stay in the truck?
I can't even breathe. Like, you can breathe fine.
Yeah, like, dude, I go to work for 12 and a half hours and I'm wearing a stinking mask all day long. You can suffer through 20 minutes. You're not going to pass out. Fine.
Exactly.
I was thinking with you as being a nurse and then also having to be the instructor, the teacher side as well, that has to be a little frustrating, especially when it's your own and you know about the benefits of wearing the mask and going out. But I understand the teenage part of it and the kids that it's just not cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and now schools are going to make money off of masks because I'm getting emails about the seniors have their own mask with the emblem from the school on it, and the other kids have a different mask. And you can get a mask and you can get the neck thing that you pull up, and it's got.
Oh wow!
Like,
it's like a fashion statement in school now, I guess.
Yeah.
And I thought they were trying to go away from some of that, but then that puts that back into the front line as well. Like, gotta have that mask.
Right.
That particular mask, not this mask.
It's fashion now. Because you got to wear it, so it might as well be fashionable, right?
Gotta be.
Now, it did happen and notice one. I went to the post office and when I went to mail out a letter, she actually had a mask fully rhinestone. Now, I've never seen that. I was like, are you for real? You know, because you're supposed to be able to breathe through the whatever it is made out of cotton or whatever, but it was all rhinestones, all of it. So I thought that was kind of crazy.
I'd seen on TMZ. It was something similar to that, except for it was a whole face, like a whole head one, and it looked like the lady was going fencing. You know how they have those medals? Like, why it was some celebrity walking around and TMZ was filming her, and they were like, "Are you good at fencing?" And I was like, "Why is she wearing that?"
That's crazy.
Okay. Yeah, I seen the mask, the one where they open it up and it looks like the mouth opens.
Yeah, I've seen those too. Just all.
You know, they actually have some masks like that in the hospital where it's just a regular surgical mask, but then they have plastic over the mouth so that the patients can still see your facial expressions, because that's one thing that just hurts my heart with wearing this whole mask thing just in general, is you connect so much right here.
Yeah.
Like 80% of communication is nonverbal. So it's all of your expression and your body language. And when you're talking about like kindergartners and, you know, kids who are really, really little and they're still, you know, building those things, they're building that trust, they're building those relationships, that really stunts them. It just, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see where things go. But I worry about the psyche of our young people, let alone everybody else. I mean, I hate wearing the masks. Like, can you see the crinkles in my eyes? Yes, I'm smiling at your joke. You know, whatever.
Yeah. Right. The crinkles are smiling, not wrinkles, right?
Right.
But that is so true. Yes.
All right, we have about 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So,
looking at the. All right, nothing down in the chat, I don't think.
Nope.
All right.
The top of the link, sir.
Want to let them give a few minutes to talk about their channel for a minute, since we're a few minutes till.
Sure.
Anything going on or something you want us to come see, or?
Well, actually, tomorrow we will be premiering our 5th and final video in a series we've been doing called RV Living Start Here. And it's really a series just to kind of educate the general population who are maybe thinking about RV life, whether it's full-time, part-time, weekend, whatever. Just kind of introducing them, you know, telling them about what the RV life is, how to pick your rig, accessories, how to budget, things like that. So our last video tomorrow is actually sharing an RV lifestyle budget.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See where all the money goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even remember what else to do. Something came out yesterday.
It was our end of the school year video that we just released because we had just finished the previous school year at the tail end of June.
You ever feel like you're just editing and putting things out and editing and putting things out, and you're like, what did we even do? What's next? I don't know. I'm watching lives and I'm editing and it's work.
Yeah. Well, we have been doing 2 videos a week to try and catch up. So we've been doing our fun family adventures, just releasing early on Tuesday mornings, and then doing our educational stuff or more serious videos on Thursday afternoons. And then, of course, we still go live every Sunday for Central as well. So we're hitting the YouTube pretty hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it.
We reached an awesome milestone yesterday.
We finally got over 800 subscribers, so that's
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you.
I feel like our watch hours are building with it, so we're kind of doing it naturally, organically, whatever you want to call it. So I think we'll kind of get there towards the same time. So that's that's good.
Perfect.
Awesome. I'm very happy for you. That's great.
Thank you.
And thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being
you.
We have thoroughly enjoyed it very much. Thank you. All right, it looks like it is 10 o'clock. So we're going to go ahead and close out the show. And again, thank you guys so much for being a part of this with us. I know we've enjoyed it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you,
Thank
Natasha and
you.
Bill.
I'm going to drop you down low. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I know I had fun. That was definitely a really good conversation. And definitely want to give thanks to Danny with Griswold, Family Vacay, and Bill and Natasha at Nursing Our Travel Bug. If y'all are not familiar with them or connected with them, please go and check them out. And what do we have going on next week, Nettie?
We have tent camping is a topic with Texas Family Camping.
Oh,
There'll
so
be
that's
one.
really going to be fun.
Yes.
So y'all, please check back with us next week for another fun time where we're going to get into some tent camping. And I hear it's pretty interesting with
Yeah.
those over there. So I'm excited to get to learn a little bit more about them and all. Thank you again, y'all, for joining us. And if you have a topic you want to discuss with us, please reach out to us and let's talk about what's on your mind. And with that, I am Theresa with Meant to Be RVing, and we'd like to wish you peace, happiness, and a good night.
I am BB with Beyond Beauty 3, wishing you all much kindness and much love.
And I'm Nettie with MelNetteLivingFreeZipCodeless, and we're sending love your way.
Good night.
Good night.